One thing I think's important that everybody should know, we's darn good at laughing at ourselves. Like this time, this man, he drove his truck down south and got produce and brung it back like watermelons and stuff like that. Set up the side of the road, sold it there. Then he got him a little shackle place that he built up and he'd sell from that, kind of like a little store. And what that man would do to get his trade going was go join a church. And when his trade slacked off, he'd go join another church. So one day he thought it's about time he found him another church to join. So his son just popped up and said, "Daddy, you've been baptized so many times you're on a first name basis with the crawdads." Now, that's laughable, but at ourselves we can do it. I was right there, and that did happen. Sure it did. Then another thing I think is important is the changes that we went through. Yeah. You know, electricity was a big, and just think what happened to woman's work when that electricity come in. What used to take all day doing a wash, heating the water, putting it in the zinc tub, scrubbing with your hands in lye soap on a washboard, wringing it out in a rinse water and hanging it out on the line to dry, and sometimes it froze out there. So them washing machines made a big difference, big difference. Then another thing that made a big difference, that stove, let me tell you. Do you know what it would be like not to have to put a coal fire in a cook stove 3 times a day to cook up a meal for people in your family? And stoves were precious, I'm telling you. But the radio, oh, that was something. Not too many people had them at first, and they'd ask us in to listen to the radio. So we'd sit there looking at the radio like it could make us hear better. I figure now it was training us for TV. Think so. Anyway, WBTH over in Webson quit at 6 in the evening, and we couldn't get a very good reception in here. Story goes, Grand Ole Opry is broadcast on Saturday nights, and we didn't get it till Tuesday nights. We were back in these hills. And we could laugh at that too. Then there's things that we got on that radio that we didn't laugh out. FDR, Franklin Delano Roosevelt, his fireside chats. Boy, he made us think for what was going on and feel for it too. That reminds me. Another Democrat at Piggly Wiggly supermarket over in town built another big market on the Kentucky side right across from Webster. Biggest parking lot anywhere. Well, when John Fitzgerald Kennedy, JFK, was running for president, we got the word he's coming in on a helicopter and he's going to land in that parking lot. Would you believe we had traffic jams everywhere because people all through this part of the country wanted to see him? And I guess them 2 people was mighty important to us because we got FDR on the radio and we got to look at JFK. But that radio, the news got bad about the Nazis and what was going on in Europe, and we just sort of held our breath on that. But one of the mothers in our community was sure glad about her boy who was in the service. He's in the Navy. And there's this time that she got a letter from him, and she was sharing it with us. And he was out in the Pacific, and she's glad for that because he was out there and he was so enjoying it. He went to this Hawaii, and he said that him and his buddies went to this hotel, wandered around just to see what it looked like in there. And in that lobby, they had these bowls of peanuts, and biggest you'd ever seen, biggest as the end of your thumb. And then he went on to say in that letter, he just loved the port where they was stationed. And that was Pearl Harbor. Well, that was the turning point, wasn't it? Turning point for the whole country. It sure was for us. Some of us went off to join the service. Some went off to defense plants. And a lot of them never come back. After World War II, things really changed. Ike, old Eisenhower, built interstate roads all through the country, and Detroit built big cars to drive on them. Things could get in and or out of here easy. People got in or out of any place easy. We kind of got automated, would you think? But it was a turning point for all of us. And putting all this together seems like to me that every place in this country's gone through about the same things. We've had to deal with our problems about how we feel about each other and the color of our skin, and wars turning us different, and all different kinds of things in our houses, like electricity and all them things. But what I figure is this: we might sound different when we talk, but it's downright the same thing. And we're all making up the same piece, a great big of American pie, and each of us is just a little slice of it. Well, that's about what I recollect. Sure, thank you all for letting me do this and think back on how things was. But now let me tell you, you finished with your project. You all come back now. I want to see you again, okay? And thank you so much.